Hi guys, today is Friday, so I'm going to be doing my Friday favorites video. The first thing I want to highlight for you guys is this game called Nimble Quest, which is available for Android and iOS. This is a really fun game that I've become extremely addicted to over the past couple of weeks. It's kind of like Snake, but more advanced. Like you are a tiny little knight and you go around the little square area and there are different things that you have to kill, and when you kill them you either get a gem or you can pick up another person. The more people you kill, like the more people you can collect and the longer your chain gets. And like Snake, you can't crash into anything else or yourself or you will die, but also there are all these things you have to kill and they can shoot things at you as well. I'm not great at it, mainly because my depth perception in this game is really off and I end up crashing into walls without realizing that I'm that close to them because I'm like so focused on getting an enemy or something like that I end up walking into a wall. I've done that way too many times. I've only gotten to like the 6th level, but I'm so addicted to it and I'm having so much fun that even though I'm really bad at it, I play it all the time. If you guys have been watching these Friday favorites for a while, you may have seen a couple of weeks back when I highlighted the Daft Punk and Justin Timberlake song. Daft Punk recently released the full track called Get Lucky with Pharrell, and that track is really great, but what I specifically have as my favorite for this week is the band Daughter did a cover of it. And I really like when bands do covers of songs that are drastically different from what they usually do and they end up making it their own. The Daft Punk version is, you know, really fun and dancey and just all around upbeat, and this one is a lot more chill and relaxed. Also, I just really like Daughter a lot, so I feel like I would have liked this cover no matter what. Next, a TV show that I've really been enjoying recently is The Americans, which is on FX. It is the show that takes place in the 1980s and it stars Carrie Russell, and her husband are Russian spies in America, and it basically just follows mainly them, but just the general KGB versus the Americans and the FBI, and it's a really interesting show. I've been watching it basically since it premiered earlier this year, and it's a show that always interested me, but as it's been going towards the end of the season, this week it aired the final episode for this season. It's been getting better and better. It's really interesting. I think all of the actors are really great on this show, and I just really enjoy it. Just as a warning, since the show is on FX, there is swearing and nudity and violence and things like that. And the final thing that I want to highlight is a podcast called Literary Disco. Now, I've been listening to this podcast for about 6 or 8 months now. It's only been on for a little over a year, and the reason why I found it is because it has Ryder Strong, who is probably best known as Sean Hunter from Boy Meets World. He is one of the 3 people on this podcast, and obviously they talk about books and such, and I really like this podcast. At first I was kind of iffy on it, but the more I'm listening to it, the more I'm really enjoying it. They cover a wide variety of writing, like they'll cover short stories and fiction and nonfiction, and they recently did a podcast talking about 2 essays that covered the same event and they like compared them, and it's really interesting. I don't always agree with the things that they say or their opinions on writing, but I think that they always have something really interesting to point out. Also, I think it is absolutely hilarious when they don't like a book, like when they completely rip books apart. It is probably the funniest thing ever. My favorite episodes are probably when they read The Hardy Boys and when they read Pillars of the Earth, because they absolutely hated Pillars of the Earth. And I kind of wanted to read the book after listening to that podcast because it was just such an entertaining podcast that even though they hated it, it made me kind of want to read the book. And they also recently announced that they have read The Fault in Our Stars and just recorded the episode, and so it'll be up in a couple weeks. They post, I believe, twice a month. So yeah, those are all of the things that I have been enjoying this week. Feel free to leave comments down below with something that you've been enjoying this week. So yeah, that's all I have. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye.